What's good, YouTube? I'm here with Adam Bairn, who you've seen tear up our tournament series with water. Many of you have asked him and us for the deck list, so we're going to go ahead and interview him and let him tell you basically how it works. I have it in the same order as you gave me, so go ahead and go.
All right, what's up, YouTube? Thanks, House of Champs, for letting me be on the channel, and I guess I'll start. The first card is Aqua Spirit, and it's kind of an interesting card. It used to be used in old water decks, but I kind of just use it now as a faster way to get to Norden, because if you open up Prince Aqua Spirit, it lets you go to Dweller Megalo, which is really strong. And it's kind of all I have to say about that card. But other than that, like, it can be bricky, but that's what's cool about Moray of Greed, which you can see in the spells later, that you can just put it back if you don't need it. And next is the Atlantean engine, which is basically just a 9-card Atlantean engine with 2 Dragoons, 2 Infantry, 2 Marksmen, and 3 Prince. And you kind of just want to keep a small Atlantean engine because you want to search them, not draw them, usually. And that's why Moray of Greed is also good, so if you draw them, you can put them back. And then the 1 Saki Diva, which is pretty cool if you open it, because you can usually Moulin Glacia. It can also lead to a bunch of hand loop combos with Trishula. And yeah, those are kind of the main combo pieces of the deck, Prince and the Atlanteans, kind of what gets you going. And then the next engine is the Kaiju engine, which have obviously been seeing a lot of popularity. And water can kind of abuse Gamma Seal the best, because if you don't need to tribute anything, you can kind of just discard it for an effect, which is kind of cool. And if people aren't really smart and they don't Dweller during the standby phase, you can kind of just get around Dweller if you're playing in someone that's not very good.
Yeah, they're trying to plus and think they're going to get one over on you.
Exactly. And I don't really run the other Kaiju engine because I just think it leads to bricks in this deck because you really just kind of want to draw as many good combo cards as possible. So I think the water is just Gamma Seal is sufficient. And then 3 Maxi. I mean, cards. I think every deck is kind of playing at least 3 in the main or 3 in the side, just because it basically ends BA's turn and it ends Fire King Island Cosmo's turn. And yeah, it's and also a really good card going second, which this deck wants to always go second, never go first. So it's kind of a brief explanation on that card. And then Gund, which is a card that most water builds don't really play. They like to stick to more of an Atlantean engine. But I really like the Mermel engine because it raises the ceiling and just lets you do a lot more cool plays in OTK more. But the only problem is people say they brick a lot. But again, Moray of Greed, just the anti-brick card for water, basically. And then 1 lead, kind of that card that basically every Mermail deck played back like a couple years ago, but now you pretty much just use it as a 1 of 2, hand loop more, and revive off Gund, yeah. And then the obligatory 3 Megalo, which if you're not playing 3 Megalo, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's pretty much the whole reason why this deck can put out over 10,000 damage on the first turn. And yeah, and usually what I see a lot of water players not do is when they summon Prince and they go to add, they'll usually add like a bunch of infantries and marksmen. But I always like to add the second Dragoons. So if you pitch it off Megalo and they strike you, you can search another Megalo and hopefully summon another one and try an OTK. So kind of catch people off guard there. And then the 1 Pike, just to be able to search off Tias and make cool Dweller plays with Gund when you don't open Instant Fusion or Aqua Spirit. But you don't want to play more than 1 because it's a normal summon, and you always want to reserve your normal summon for Prince or Diva, which is pretty important. And then 3 Teus, a really good starter card. Actually, a really good starter card. Probably the best one besides Prince or Diva. Searches you either Gund or Pike. And yeah, baits out a back row usually, and kind of get you going. Mainly that's what it's for. And then the Flying Water Cow, Moon Glacia, for, just searching once you get 5 waters, or if you open up Diva, you just Moon Glacia them first turn. It's a really cool combo with Tatsunoko. And yeah, it's really good against basically anything that's not Burning Abyss, unless you have a Dweller up. Then 3 Prince, the whole reason why this deck is playable in the year 2016. It's a Stratosphere Megalo and any of your Atlanteans, and it's a +2 on summon if they don't Warning it or Dark Destroyer it. And then on the spells, Mizuchi. This is the 1 target I play for Megalo.
I
And
haven't
I've been
run a
on and off
scale
with
up.
this one in Cetus, which is the trap one. And I've noticed that Cosmos don't really play traps anymore, so I kind of want to use the spell one now. So that's the whole reason why I use the trap one. And next, one Dark Hole, just a really good card when going second. Obviously, to clear boards like Dark Lady and Infinity if you've already baited out the negate. Then triple instant fusion, just to get your Norden, kind of that mentality like last format or 2 formats ago when people just played one Norden. Because basically, when you draw this card, you just kind of win. Then 3 Moray of Greed, the replacement for Upstart Goblin. After the April list. Basically, the bad hands of this deck are the hands when you draw too many Atlanteans or you don't draw Prince. So you basically just to unbrick you, and 9 times out of 10, you generally unbrick yourself, but it's one of those cards, it basically just gives you another chance to get to Prince. Then 1 for 1, 4th copy of Prince, Raigeki, basically just a better Dark Hole going second. Salvage, there are some combos with Diva, Salvage, Tias, but I mainly just use it as like basically a card to like extend your plays. Basically, if you like strike your Megalo or just to stop what you're doing, basically like lets you keep going because this deck's kind of a glass cannon, like all out or bust. And then the one upstart because 1,000 really doesn't matter when you can put out easily over 12,000, 10,000, whatever you want. And then should I do the side or extra first?
Let's do the extra since we touched on some plays from it.
Okay, so Norden, obviously, like, I'd probably say it's the second best card in the extra deck, just because it not only is it a water, but it brings back Dragoons and lets you OTK. Then Gungnir, basically, I've been on and off with this one in Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, but I've never found a situation where summoning Odd Eyes would be like so much more significant than summoning Gungnir, where I'd want to play it over Gungnir. So, and it triggers all your waters obviously, and really good against Monarchs to clear the boards. Not really good against Cosmo though, unfortunately. Then one Leo, generally good late game. Once you summon, if you didn't summon your Tatsunoko on your first turn, you can summon it and then use one of your dead 7s in hand to make it. And it's really good against Burning Abyss and Cosmo if they don't have Cosmo Joe. Then 1 star is Charge Warrior. It's really good for the first turn Diva combo that lets you summon any level 6 synchro you want and Eglacia and take 2 cards out of their hand, and you get to draw a card, so it's probably the best one in the game right now. Then 1 Tatsunoko, again for the Diva combo for Glacia, because all you have to do is open Diva and instant Glacia, as long as they don't have a Veiler and Maxi. And yeah, then Trishula. Common misbelief is that this deck can spam Trishula, but I oftentimes hardly ever summon this card because you mainly just want to go for an OTK, so I don't know. I'd much rather just go for an OTK than summon a Trish, in my opinion, but it's an option. Then 2 Abyss Dweller, the whole reason why you can beat Cosmos, and it's really good with instant fusion and triggers your Dragoons when you detach it. So it extends your plays and shuts down basically every deck that's not Pendulums right now. Then Castel, to be honest, I don't really know why it's in here. Just kind of another rank 4 when Dweller isn't the right play. Then Dracosac. There's a combo that if you open up Diva, Tias, and then either Glacia, Lead, or Megalo, you end your field with Trishula, Trishula, Dracosac, and Moon Glacia and take 4 cards out of their hand. So it's basically just used for hand loops. Then Gaios, probably the best rank 7 in this deck, just because it's really good paired with Dweller against Cosmos. And yeah, just free negates and stops level 5 or higher from attacking. And then Big Eye, just to steal monsters. It's kind of generic, but it's pretty cool if you steal like a Landwalker. I did that once, and it just stopped his like floating train. And then number 37, Spider Shark. It's a pretty good card. It doesn't target by making your opponent's monsters lose 1,000. And then it's a monster reborn if they ever kill it. So you can bring back Norden, you can bring back Dragoons, and then make a Dweller. So it's really cool. And then Utopia, and then Utopia Lightning. I thought about cutting these cards, but then one of my teammates told me that I have no out to a Dark Planet besides this and Gamma Seal. So I figured I might as well keep it in there just because. So I guess now to the side deck.
Yep.
So 3 Artifact Lancia. Really good versus Fire King Cosmo, especially when you draw it off Maxi, because it basically just halts their play. And yeah, I think it's probably one of the best cards to side against them in this format. 2 Fog King for Monarchs. Fog King's a level 7 water, so you can actually use it for either a rank 7 or discarding it if you don't need it. But yeah, it's Monarchs. I actually thought for a long time that Monarchs was a free win for this deck, but then I found out that extra deck Monarchs are just so good that, like, even though they can't tribute, a rank 5 is still pretty good. And then Abyss Scale of Cetus. I tend to swap this one out for Mizuchi depending on the matchup. And this card basically negates a trap. And what's cool about it is, since it negates at the resolution, it can actually stop counter traps like Strike, Warning. So that's pretty much the only reason.
Are there only 2 chalices?
No, there's 3 chalices.
Huh? Are there only 2 full houses?
No, there's 3 full house.
And 3 restrict?
Yeah.
3 Fog King?
Only 2 Fog King.
All right, yeah. I'm trying to figure out what was wrong in the list. My bad.
Oh, gotcha. It's all right. Yeah, Forbidden Chalice is a really good card. Actually, before my top 8 match with Ed, I just threw 3 in my side deck because I thought he'd be playing a deck that can just summon Dweller because he knew I'd be playing Water. And it actually really helped, except when he called it with Side Blocker, and I drew it game 3, so it was pretty unfortunate. But yeah, it's really good against Monarchs and people that are smart and just shotgun Dweller first turn. Then 3 Full House for Cliffort, because I don't want to lose to Cliffort. And because typically what they do is they use their card of Demise, draw 3, maybe play a scale or 2, and then set a bunch of back row. Then you just like blow them out with Full House. So it's pretty interesting. Then 3 Mask of Restrict. Again, just Monarch hate. And the only downside with this and Fog King is you can't tribute for Megalo to attack twice, unfortunately. But it's worth the cost because while you can't do one thing, they can't play their entire deck.
So you've top 4'd 2 of our Zodiac tournaments, which you have to go 6-1 to do. How difficult would you say, like, how many of your games went to game 3 since it is a glass cannon?
I'm pretty sure I 2-0'd everybody except for when I played Cosmo. Those either went to game 3 or I lost.
So Cosmo's kind of the tough matchup.
Yeah. Also, game 3 against Ed in top 8. But besides that, I feel pretty confident with this deck.
So, any shout-outs to deck building?
My friend Randy Dong, you've probably seen him on Zodiac. He throws tidbits at me every now and then for this deck. Like, I used to main Gore or side Gores, and it helped a lot, especially in that one feature match where I knew my opponent had Gores, and I kept playing because I had to get out of his hand. And the rest of my team, Chris and Alonzo and Simon, they help a lot. They usually point out things for this deck whenever I'm playing it. And yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, no problem.